Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, I figured, since I'm usually reviewing, old movies, the low budget, it came out from long ago, I figured I would do a review of a kaiju movie. Oh, there's a disclaimer here. I've already reviewed a version or two of this already, and I figured I'll just do another version of it, review another edition. It's a special edition, actually, which I do own on DVD. Return of the Giant Monsters is the film I'm going to be talking about, folks. Yep, a kaiju film. And I do have this on DVD, folks, of course. This is a special edition that was released back in 2004, and it's the American dubbed version of the Japanese film Gamma vs. Gauss. So, yeah, just thought I'd let you know real quick about that, folks. And I just figured I would review this because it's been a good while since I reviewed any giant monster movies or whatever. And this came in with another giant monster movie, The Magic Serpent, I guess you can say. So this is a double feature pack. But I'm just going to be talking about the one Gamma movie here, folks. And okay, and yeah, this just in one disc, of course, DVD. In case you don't know, of course. And it was released by this one company here. I did attempt to look for a bit more information about this company. Uh, yeah, I guess you can say that when I looked it up, there's some like what seems to be rather adult entertainment kind of a thing. I don't know if it's the same company, but it looks like the logo is pretty much the same, at least similar and whatnot. Because I've found a lot of similar naming companies that do some stuff like this or whatever. But what I did find out is that it looks like the actual company would release a lot of these like retro old cartoons, old anything, I guess. Yes, even old fitness videos and whatnot. So if it's like from long ago, they have released it. And this looks like more right, like they would actually some do. This looks about right here, folks. So yeah, so if it's retro, they looks like they may have released. I'm not saying that the company made these things. They at least released them, like old cartoons, old stuff. Is what I'm getting at, or whatever. And yeah, and the thing is, oh yeah, speaking of which, there are the website's like right there. There you go. There's a website. It's printed right there. So yeah, speaking of which, I just remember that. Oh yeah, it's even on the disc as well, folks. And yeah, that's the design of it, of course. Again, old media, of course, and and it gives you the year when this specific version of this Gamma film was released and whatnot. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And the thing is, just so you know, folks, this is a Regine One. This is a Regine One DVD, so it'll play in some uh DVDs and some, I guess you can say, laptops. So I'll just it's a Regine One. Just so you know, folks. I know I keep repeating that. Just keep hammering in. It's a Regine One. So just so you know, this specific version of the film is Regine One. This version I'm talking about. There's been more than one version released. I'm just saying. So yeah, once a popularity, this comes up. Yeah, it's like an animated FBI thing, warning, which I think is pretty cool. I guess it actually shows up like this. So yeah, I think it's pretty creative like that. I do like the atmosphere, the look. I guess you can say something creative. And there's fire in the background. It's actually animated. That's cool. That's all like a little charm to this, of course. So yeah, I like the way it's done. And you can select which movie of the two you go here, and it actually advertised the website. I just got to saying, folks. So I do believe that's the actual company. There you go. That's the actual company. So if you want to check it out, just type it in your own. And if you like, folks, you probably could order stuff. I believe. I think. But usually the would sites like this you would usually would, of course, and you go to select screen and it's even animated as well. And I like this. I like the setup here. It's really nice, of course. I really like this. And this version was released by this American International Television, which yes is an actual company. by the way, and it's an American motion picture production label, and it is, of course, an independent film company and distribution. Of course, again, they didn't make the movie. This company did not make the movie. They released the film, and of course, the logo for the Japanese version is far different, of course, and as you can see, a lot more clearer. So again, the company is Dai. That's the original company that produced the Gamera films. And but yeah, I just figured I'll point that out just so you know, folks. Alrighty then. Alright, with that out the way, of course, as usual, let's just talk about the plot, shall we, folks? So let's get into it. This is the one where Gamera himself, the giant fire-breathing turtle, has to fight off this thing called Gauss. Gauss has been pretty much reawoken because he has something to do with the atomic bomb and radiation, missiles, and all that. And basically, in other words, uh, Gamera has to come in and fix up a fuck up. I guess you would say the human because human beings are being dicks again. Oh boy, like that hasn't been used multiple times in these movies. Oy. But anyway, moreover, Gao is just like this hybrid creation when it comes to like giant monsters. Because he's kind of like a pterodactyl, the one flying dinosaur, and a vampire. He's like those two things. And yeah, the thing is that the director of the film actually wanted to do like a kaiju version of Dracula. I guess in some ways he kind of got what he wanted. Yeah, these movies got weirder as they went. Not gonna lie. Not that I'm complaining though. So points for being creative. I'll give it that. The film starts off with giving some sort of summary of what's been going on, of course, and how things can be really dangerous or whatever. And yeah, it does have this real reddish, orangish look to it. But the thing is that, folks, and the Japanese version of this film, the look is not even there. It actually looks way different. And the Japanese version does go in more detail of what's going on with these explosions and whatnot. So it does a lot better in that regard. But anyway, back to the to the American version is that of course gonna be some scientists involved in all this, obviously. So let me discuss what's going on. Well, of course, you're gonna have scientists in this movie, even though sometimes what they're talking about might be a little vague. Okay, I'm kidding, really vague, especially when it comes to the dubbed versions and whatnot. But these types of characters are usually done make it seem what they're talking about, what the movie's doing, seem more believable. Even though in the American version it's extremely vague. But anyway, moreover, but then we get to see that there's this little kid, and yes, in this English dub version, his voice is irritating. Yeah, the dubbing in this version is pretty bad. If I'm gonna be honest with you, folks. I mean, you can still like the movie, get past that, I guess, but still. But at least in the Japanese version, why I don't like seeing kids in these movies like at all. But at least in the Japanese version, his character actually amounts to something a lot more. Compared that to the American version, yeah, a lot of his dialogue was changed, and I don't know why. I don't know why a lot of his dialogue was changed in the American version of this film, but in the Japanese version, his character actually amounts to something more. And the opening sequence like this was actually changed too, folks. At least to some extent, it was shortened or whatever. Like a lot of this film, a lot of it was quite shortened or whatever. And not only that, and that's another thing. Speaking of this film being heavily edited, um, yeah, a lot of the gorier bits when it comes to this movie was removed because it was deemed too violent. Some violence could be allowed, but only to extent. I guess that's a cultural thing. I guess in Japan, the Japanese version is a lot more violent, and but over here in America, it just comes off like a lot of these companies. They're just basically like a tight ass. I don't know. Maybe it's a cultural thing or whatever. Maybe they're more over there. They're more tolerant about violence in these movies, even though the main character is technically a kid. But whatever, guys. Anyway, of course, there's gonna be some reporters that are going to talk about what's going on in the volcano because this volcano is where Gauss lives, and people are worried. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. But I don't know why they would be surprised because this is like what the third entry of the original Gamma series. You think they would have been used to this by now? But whatever. I guess they were just curious about some things and whatever. And like for the dubbing, oh man, government officials and whatnot have to take care of this because this is an actual problem. Obviously. And of course, this was also an issue in the Japanese version, but you do get a bit more a sense of the human lives, of course, because the human characters in the Japanese version are trying to live their lives, but it just gets interrupted because of the fact that there's this giant monster thing. Okay, I guess in this case, two of them are around, and I'll keep bringing up this version, but I just believe it's a much better film compared to this one, folks. I'm just saying. But anyway, moreover, I guess you can say that there's some pretty cool POV shot from this that was actually was kept in the American version. So yeah, I actually like this scene. So you get to see that the Gauss is actually a threat to the human characters, even in this version, of course, because he's supposed to be the bad guy monster. If you want to call him that, he's the villain. And but yeah, he of course he caused some destruction, obviously, of course. And but more of course there's this whole part where the workers they have to they feel like they're under pressure. This goes on a whole idea with the again I'm bringing about the director. The director wants you to believe that this is supposed to take place where in the 60s modern Japan was changing. The old ways was the new ways. And yeah, the director actually wanted to make a comment about that, how modern Japan and the old Japan, things are changing. If anything, to make a commentary about that in some ways. Which I feel was actually a nice touch because it that does to attempt to give the film more of a depth to it and whatnot. So I appreciate when filmmakers are trying to add something that is happening in real life to an actual, well, fictional film. So like I would say at times, sometimes the best parts of fiction, even if it's made up, has the real life situations applied in a movie. So props for that, I guess. You get to see the kid again, but this version really emphasis on the kid, 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 the kid. Come on, which just makes this version a lot more campier, a lot more cheesier than it really should be. So yeah, the American version makes this a lot. I mean, a lot more cheesier, a lot more campier as a result of this. So come on, that's what's going on in this movie. And of course, Gauss eventually comes in and tries to get the kid. And but yeah, because Gauss wants to kill everybody, I suppose, because he's supposed to be a murderer and whatnot. But thankfully, if the kid, the character Gamera comes in the nick of time to basically, you guessed it, save the day. And yeah, pretty much, like I said, Gamera is aware of what's going on. He senses that there's trouble, and like I guess like any other animal would, I guess you can say. But of course, like I was saying earlier, in the Japanese version, uh, the picture quality is a lot better. Of course, I'm just saying, and but yeah, just so you know, folks, the Hammer himself has to take care of this monster when the mechanic activity had unleashed a bloodthirsty monster named Gauss that Gavin must confront and stop him for good and whatnot. So yeah, this mysterious bat-like creature has to be destroyed, obviously, and Gamera makes the conscious decision to actually stop him for good. And I guess you would say that of course this happens in the Japanese version too, but in the version I'm talking about, in the American edited version, it really trying to put heavy emphasis on the fact he's supposed to be the good guy or whatever, as a way to make it seem like, I guess something for someone target audience, of course. But yeah, again, with the music that was played by the American company, in some ways, the way it was handled, it makes it a bit more humorous than it should be. And I find that annoying. Yeah, trying to make it more sillier than it really is, make it more goofy, I guess. But anyway, of course, in both versions, Gamera is going to have to fight him off. It's just a lot of the context has been changed or rearranged. Just so you know, folks, I'm just throwing that out there. And but yeah, if anybody wants to have this version that I have, but you can actually find it on eBay. And yeah, speaking of which, I just want to say again, like I always say, don't buy the used copies. You definitely get fucked over when it comes to that. I know another thing I find kind of weird. Yeah, if you don't find the exact same version I have, the prices have changed. It would drastically change. To be $18 and $40. I don't know why this is. I don't know why it would just drastically vary, and I just find that kind of odd. But like I said, folks, yeah, that's the thing. Don't get this pre-owned. Everest and I had done this before. Just learn from our mistakes because we got fucked over quite a few times, even with games. Yeah, that's the thing. Don't even try those games, folks. I'm just saying. I'm just pointing that out. I mean, do what you want with your money, I guess you can say. I'm just letting you all know. That's all. Yeah. Other folks, this version of this film, it's decent. I guess you can say. And I don't actually hate this movie really per se. I don't hate it really. I just got it because of the other movie that's on there, the Magic Serpent. The Magic Serpent is a real kaiju movie, so I pretty much got this. Man, I guess to add to my collection of monster movies with Gamera, I guess I have more than one version of this Gamera film, so I guess two reasons I got this. I guess you can say, but I can't just put emphasis on enough. I guess you can say is that the Japanese version is far superior. I mean, the Japanese version may not be a masterpiece either, but you get a better sense of the struggle when it comes to the the human characters. They realizing their lives would be forever changed because Japan at the time was really becoming really modern with better technology than it ever was before. You get a better sense of that in the Japanese version. I'm just throwing that out there, folks. I'm just saying. But anywho, but like I was saying, folks, it's a decent movie, I guess. It's nothing spectacular, really. I know a lot of people have fond memories of watching the American versions of these movies, but it was alright. But anyway, it has, I guess it has its own charm, I guess, but it's okay. I'll give this film, at least this version anyway, this edition, I mean, this edition gets an overall rating of a 5.1 out of 10. It's a 5.1 out of 10 for me. As always, thanks for watching, and take care. Until next time, see ya. Oh yeah. Later.